Welcome to the show today. Thanks for joining us. As always, our show topics come from you, your ideas, your feedback, and suggestions, both online at courtneyanderson.com. And when I talk to you after I've come to your company to give some corporate training, or you've come to hear a speech or a keynote. So thank you, and keep sending in those fantastic ideas. Today, of course, our topic is diversity management. Subtitled, Equality for Everyone. Oh, it's so beautiful. It sort of brings to mind a utopian vision of a beautiful world where we join hands and we sing Kumbaya. Ah, touches my heart. Let's talk a little bit about it today. Join me. As many of you know, diversity is one of those topics that when people hear about they're going to have a diversity training or go to mandatory diversity seminars, I know, I can see it in their faces, how excited they are. I know that many of you, when you hear this topic and you think back to your own meetings or online trainings or handbooks and manuals that you've read, the memory just sort of, it's titillating. Because who doesn't get excited about equality for everyone? It just sounds so beautiful. It's a wonderful, wonderful idea. And then there's reality. Now, I have 3 areas that I focus on as a professional. And those 3 areas are, 1, what I can and cannot do. What I can and cannot do. And for that, we look to one area. There's an amazing area that will help us understand what I can and cannot do. And the reason this is an amazing area is because all of the rules for what I can and cannot do are written down. They are literally written down in books that when you're maybe a little bored or maybe a little lonely, like I usually am on Saturday night, you can go read those books. You can go read those books and read all of the rules of what you can and cannot do. That is the wonderful area of the legal system, law. Law tells me what I can and cannot do. And as I've been fortunate enough to be a practicing attorney for over the last 12 years, I have a good grasp on what I can and cannot do when it comes to this area. So that's the first thing. The second thing that we like to look at in my practice is what I should and shouldn't do. It's one thing to tell me what I can and cannot do, but what about what I should do? That's where we talk about our business and business management. And sometimes we talk a little bit about ethics, what I should and shouldn't do. So we've got a baseline. The baseline is what I can and cannot do. It's written down. It tells me I cannot transport cocaine. Cannot. Above that, it tells me what I should and shouldn't do, okay? And then the third thing that we focus on in my practice is, why do I do what I do? Why do I do what I do? Most of us understand what I can and cannot do. We have a reasonable grasp of what I should and shouldn't do. That's the area of business leadership, business management. And then we have that little bit on top, where sometimes I know what I can and can't do, I know what I should and shouldn't do, and still I find myself doing things. And that's the question of, why do I do what I do? Why do I do what I do? I had a situation where when we look at these types of issues, there was a manager. The manager was talking to someone who was asking about a potential promotion. The manager basically said, look, you're too old. Old people don't learn new things. You should just be happy where you are. What you can and cannot do, that's the law. What you should and shouldn't do, that's business management, and ethics. And then why do I do what I do? Why would somebody tell someone to their face, you're too old? That's the area of personal empowerment. Why do I do what I do? That's the personal empowerment and the psychology piece of it. So those are my 3 focuses. can and cannot do, law, should and shouldn't do, business, and why do I do what I do?